Welcome, I'm Cassandra, and this is your general forecast for 18. This is for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. So, without further ado, let's jump in. Okay, so for the first card, this is Capricorn Sun, Capricorn Moon, and Capricorn Risings. So, yeah, it looks like we are having a bit of a month, guys. Wow. So it looks like you guys are probably not in the greatest mood, potentially going through some things, that is for sure. Now, with the Five of Swords, I mean, just look at this card, the details. These two men are literally fist fighting, they are duking it out, and they are standing in the water. The water represents our emotions. And just look, this woman is back here and she's just staring at the sun setting. She's got her back turned to these two gentlemen. She doesn't have a care in the world. She's just like, hey, let them fight, you know? Uh, so, this is definitely a card that, first and foremost, there's very much sneaky behavior. Are y'all sneaking around, Capricorns? What y'all doing? This is some sneaky behavior. Now, sometimes there can be a desire to start conflict with this particular energy. So I'm going to have to say that somebody has really ticked you guys off. You know, it's either somebody or it's a certain situation. But yeah, it definitely looks like somebody has gotten on Capricorn's bad side. Not where you want to be. So yeah, this can definitely be starting problems. Now, this can indicate a severing of ties. Sometimes this can indicate theft, perhaps stealing away, someone's material items. Not that I feel that that's what that is, but, I gotta mention it. But this can be, stealing others' swords, so their energy. And deception is a big one for this card. Okay, so the question is have you been deceived or are you deceiving others? And you'll know where you fit in that scenario there. Okay. But this is definitely one of those cards where we need to be careful because clearly we are emotional and sometimes we can become a bit impulsive under this type of energy to where we just react quickly and we can end up saying some things, potentially doing some things that we could end up later regretting. Okay. And, we really got to be careful because under this type of energy, we can end up getting ourselves a bad reputation. Maybe people might perceive you as being difficult, hard to work with, or, just difficult in general. But there is a reason because, Capricorns are not normally like this. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs are not normally like this. You have to do something. Something has to have happened for you guys to be feeling like this. So, it is clarified by the Seven of Swords in the reverse position. So, let me just go ahead and give a warning real quickly. If you have been deceiving others, well, the Seven of Swords in reverse is probably going to expose you. Or you could end up basically exposing yourself, not on purpose, but, accidentally. Sometimes we can almost feel a bit invincible or feel like, it'll never be exposed. No. It looks like if we have done something wrong or we have lied or, if we're trying to hide something, it's a very good possibility that it's going to come to light. Okay? Now, the Seven of Swords, again, this can be sneaky, sometimes deception. Sometimes for some of you, you could be trying to come out of this. Some of you realize that you've been going through something and it's been weighing on your own behavior. And some of you could be searching for that clarity and trying to not come across that way. But, these are both cards that are very focused on the mental, okay? So, to me, I automatically want to say, this is chess, not checkers. So, this is a card, these card combinations here, you definitely need to take a step back and look at things. Even do some research, make sure you're being objective. You know, Sometimes thinking things through, we can end up discovering, another way to handle a situation. Sometimes this can be like a situation where we feel like, it's insurmountable. It's the, end product. I just can't do it. But it doesn't have to be that way. It is possible to overcome this situation. But what it comes down to is we need to be using, our wits, so to speak. Like I said, it's chess, not checkers. So, yeah. But again, I'd be careful, especially if there have been some lies. Now, for some of you, maybe someone else lied to you, and that puts you in a bad way. And maybe they might have even came and admitted it and apologized. So that'll resonate with some of you. For some of you, this could indicate that you could get exposed and that you be the one that ends up doing the apologizing. So, it can go either way, but you guys are definitely upset, and someone has upset you. And this could be, in your personal life. This could be in your business life, at work, because this can very much indicate that there could be some, rivalry going on, especially in the workplace. But again, like I said, it's chess, not checkers, so we need to be smart about it. Sometimes physical force is not the way to go. Sometimes being smart and using our intellect is the better way to go. Okay, so for the circumstances, we have the Three of Coins. So the Three of Coins is where we are learning a new skill. This is our apprentice card. So it's like we're learning a new set of skills. For some of you, this could be indicating that you could be perhaps taking an on-the-job training course to learn about a different skill. For some of you, this could be about taking, an online course, or some of you could enroll in a local university. Now, again, this is about learning a new skill, but there is always the teamwork that goes with this card. So it's like we have to work as a team with other people. This card can also bring recognition, but it is recognition that is for the team. It's not personal recognition, but it's recognition as a team. Sometimes there can be awards for such recognition as well. Not always, but I have to mention it because it will resonate with a few of you. So we're definitely focusing on learning a new skill. We could be focusing on having to work as a team with other people. Maybe for some of you, you're used to being, a loner. Maybe you're used to doing, your thing your own way and by yourself. And maybe now we're having to work as a team. So for those who are used to lone wolfing it, this may be a little bit difficult to adjust. And that in itself could definitely bring some rivalry, especially within the work life, the profession. Okay, so this would be the focus. So this is like the focus of the entire reading. So here we have the Queen of Cups. So this would definitely indicate to me that you guys are definitely in your feels. You guys are in your emotions. So yeah, someone's clearly messing with your money. And it's got you feeling emotional. So that's not going to be for all of you, but I mean, this is a card where we are focused on emotions. It is also a card of intuition over our logic. So the Queen of Cups tends to rely on her intuition rather than her logic. So some of you could be doing that. The Queen of Cups is also someone who is very compassionate. She's also good at listening to other people. She can also give good advice. Sometimes we can see her as a counselor. But we can find her in the health profession area sometimes. But this card can also be a bit of a mirror as well. Especially since how Cancer is the opposite to Capricorn. This could be a bit of a mirror type of effect. But I'm feeling that a lot of you guys are definitely in your emotions. And I'm going to say the overall message here is we need to be compassionate. Now, we need to listen to our intuition. But we also need to have, common sense, and all of that. But, seeing this card tells me we definitely shouldn't just ignore our, intuition, those hunches that we have. This is a card where we need to pay attention, but we don't want to throw all the logic out the door either, so. Okay, yeah, I got 2 clarification cards. So, the first one is the Queen of Coins. So, yeah, this is our Queen of Finances, material items, the whole financial material realm queen. So, the focus is definitely on gaining financially and materially. And perhaps, we feel like our money's being messed with. So it could be making us a bit emotional. Now, here I see the 6 of Cups for the second one. So this tells me that some of you guys could be looking back on your past towards some of good memories. And this could be making you feel a bit nostalgic. Now, a lot of times when I see this card, it's a good indication that someone that has ties or connection to our past could come up in our life. For some of you, this person has already re-entered your life, and for some of you, it's about to happen. Now, we don't always know the person, but there will always be a connection to our past some way. Sometimes this could be, maybe they lived on the same street as we did at some point in time when we were a child. Maybe, this 6 of Cups also represents our siblings, our cousins, so family. So sometimes this could be someone that knows someone in our family, and then we end up meeting them. For some of you, this could be an old lover. So for some of you, this could be, a relationship possibility, and this person has ties to your past. Very possible for some of you. Now, an opportunity can definitely emerge from this card. Sometimes it can be, a job offer. Maybe it comes from someone that has a connection, a tie to our past, or maybe the opportunity itself has something to do with our past. Maybe it's somewhere that we used to live while we were, a child or in our teenage years. Or maybe someone that we know or has connections to our past tells us about this opportunity. But overall, this is a good thing. It's like there's an opportunity that's going to present itself. Now, sometimes this card can indicate that we could potentially get a gift, and sometimes this can be about an inheritance. But I'm feeling this is mostly about an opportunity coming your way. For some of you, this is going to be about love, but for most of you, this is going to be on the financial front. Okay, so for the recent past, we have the Fool. So this was us getting started, in a new direction, going down a path. And it's like there's childlike joy and innocence to this new start. It's also us having a clean slate. So there was definitely a new start somewhere. I really love this card in this deck. She just looks like a boss. So there was definitely a new start, or perhaps maybe you might have went in a different direction. Could be different things. This could have been about a relationship. This could have been career related. This could have been home life, personal life related. This could be different things. So you'll know what it was for you, but it was definitely a new start, and this is our recent past. Okay, so this is the present, the here, and the now energy. So, wow, you guys, we got the star in the reverse position. So this tells me that you guys are definitely feeling anxious, perhaps maybe even feeling a bit hopeless about a certain situation right now. And for some of you, and this is only going to be for a few of you, and please don't take this energy on if you do not resonate with what I'm saying. Don't automatically assume that you will feel this way, but because this is a card of the present, the here, and the now. Some of you could be struggling with an issue that is anxiety or depression related. So again, if you're not already feeling some sort of anxiety disorder or depressive type of issue, then please don't take that energy on as it being yours. So, some of you are dealing with depression and anxiety, and I'm going to say that's an absolute for a lot of you. And it all stems back to feeling hopeless about something that we wished for, something that we've wanted to happen, and we feel like all hope is lost. But it's not. Ultimately, this is a card that is like testing our faith, and what we need to do is we need to have unshakable faith, whether that's faith in a religion, or within ourselves, we need to have unshakable faith. This card can also indicate that there could be some sort of hidden talents. Maybe you know about them, maybe you have no clue about them. But these talents would be creative. And if you know that you have these creative abilities, that's a talent, and maybe you just ignored it and pushed it off to the side, long ago, well, then this is a card that's saying, hey, I'd pull that back out. You never know. Work on it. Because that could be the very thing that could bring this card to the upright position. But most of all, I want you guys to know that you need to have faith. You need to believe in yourself, okay? If something doesn't work out, that doesn't mean that something better won't work out for us. The way I look at it is when one door closes, another door always opens up. Always. And sometimes that next door could be a much better option, but we just can't see it in the present moment. And sometimes it can take a few years for us to realize, wow, this was a better option. So, but most of all, I don't want you guys losing hope or inspiration. I don't want you guys, getting sucked in by anxiety or depression and hopelessness. This is like a temporary storm. We need to ride it out, It's not going to last forever. And sure, I understand you guys are definitely upset. Something has definitely set you guys off. That is for sure. But I don't want you guys to lose hope. This is temporary. It's not permanent. And if we lost out on, one opportunity, then this is the universe saying, that's not right for us right now. Or I have something better in store for you. You just can't see it right here, right now. But you will. Okay, so it is clarified by the Three of Coins. So maybe some of you are feeling hopeless about this particular job or position or schooling. This is our card, the apprentice, learning a new skill, a new set of abilities, working as a team, collabing, so to speak. So maybe this is where this hopelessness could be stemming from. Maybe this isn't necessarily what you wanted, or maybe for some of you this was something that you did want, and maybe you feel like it's not working out. Maybe you feel like you're never going to get it. If it's something that you really want, you definitely don't want to be thinking negatively, and you don't want to be thinking about everything that we're lacking, because that is a problem. The more that we focus on what we are lacking and what we want but we don't have right now, it's kind of like a black hole that'll suck us in, and sometimes we can end up getting more of what we don't want. So, more reasons to feel like we're lacking, and we don't want that. So, if you are resonating with what I just said, it is better to focus upon what we do have right now that we feel grateful for. The little things, it doesn't have to be huge things. If you're healthy, this is something to feel so grateful about. If you're eating tonight, you should feel grateful and thankful. If you have a bed to lay your head down in and a roof over your head, I'm telling you, that's something to feel thankful and grateful for. And the more that we can focus upon these things that we easily tend to take for granted, and I'm not saying it's just you guys, because let me tell you, we are all guilty of it. Every single sign throughout the zodiac is guilty of this. We all do it. But if we can shift our frame of thought and start focusing on what we do have in the moment and what we're grateful and thankful for, this can actually attract more things for us to be grateful and thankful for. For instance, you guys are watching this reading, there's a lot of people that aren't even going to eat tonight or have a place to lay their head. And yet we've got these smartphones, tablets, iPads, computers, with internet access. But yet somebody, they're not going to eat tonight. And that would be a whole nother video if we want to get into the numbers and statistics. So, yeah. We don't want to go there. Okay, enough about that. Okay, so this would be your near future. We have the Six of Coins in the reverse position. So this indicates that an offer could be made, but it will be one that has strings attached. So there could be something about this offer that is not to your liking. Now, for those who could be waiting on some sort of investment payout, or say like an inheritance from an estate, this could indicate that things could be handled in an unethical way, where things are not distributed the way they were supposed to be. It could be done in an unethical manner. For some of you, this could be about a loan, and maybe you get approved for a loan, or somebody says, yeah, I will loan you some money, but then it's not as much as we need. For some, this could be about an investment that we made, and perhaps maybe it's not turned out well. For some, this could be about maybe you loaned someone money and now you need it back, and perhaps maybe you don't get it back, or they can't give you what you thought that you were going to get. Yeah. But I'm feeling for a lot of you that this could be more of the offer but with strings attached. Something that's not necessarily going to be to your liking. Oh, and here we go. So it is clarified by none other than the devil. So we're definitely obsessing over this, and I could definitely see this. There is definitely some obsessing, and this is why I'm glad I already got to talk out of the way. This is where we definitely need to start focusing on what we're grateful and thankful for. This is very much a card of obsession, addictions, karmic toxic relationships, and these can be romantic or platonic, okay? But remember, fear is an illusion. Fear will only keep you in the same spot, which is exactly what it wants you to do, is to do nothing. It's just like, take a look at this card. You see this man? He's refusing to even look up. He is in that golden cage there. The door is wide open, and he could literally crawl out of that cage at any given moment. All he needs to do is look up, but he's not. So this is definitely like bondage. Perhaps maybe you're feeling stuck. Maybe you feel like there's no other way. But there's always another way. And that's why I said it's chess, not checkers, people. This is where we need to use our intelligence, our wit. There is a way around it. Some situations look like they are impossible, but there is a way to make it possible. But we need to be careful that we don't start obsessing and almost become addicted to the very thing that we're, trying to overcome. This card comes up a lot for Capricorn. It really does. But, not all of you by any stretch of the means, but there are a lot of you that are, seriously addicted to working. And there's a lot of us that couldn't even begin to keep up if we wanted to with you guys. It's just work, 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 work. And sometimes, this could be, maybe we're fearful or even obsessing about our bank account, about our financial state. But I'm telling you guys, even though this situation may not be how you want it to be, you are not stuck. You feel like you're stuck in all these circumstances, but that is the fear. It is an illusion. You are not stuck. This is why I keep saying it's chess, not checkers. We need to use our intelligence, our logic. But most of all, we need to make sure that we're not afraid. Look up, You can get out of that golden cage at any given moment. All you got to do is open your eyes and look up and crawl out. The only one that's stopping you is you. Okay, so this will be the attitude card. Oh, this is definitely very fitting for you guys. King of Coins. So we are definitely focused on our coins and making more of them. This is a king that's not only about having money. This is a king that is going after wealth. We don't just want financial security. We want wealth. We're interested in building wealth, not just riches, wealth. So this is a good attitude card. So I am definitely encouraged by this, but this definitely makes me think that you guys are even more, addicted to working and having that financial security, which is okay, but all things in moderation. Okay, we don't have to feel like we're a prisoner to it. That's where something good can become something not so good. We don't have to be a prisoner. But this, like I said, is, a very good card to have as the attitude card. So you guys are definitely focused on making money. For some of you, you could actually be mentoring someone else or even a team of people. You could potentially be mentoring so that they can learn how to not only make money, but how to build some wealth. This is also the king that, if you have financial advice, this is definitely the person you want to ask. So yeah, I would definitely always look at Capricorn as someone who's typically pretty darn good with their money. But yeah, the focus is definitely, we're focused on building that wealth. So this is how other people see you. So we have the Temperance card in the reverse position. So kind of funny that it's right here underneath the Queen of Cups, but not really, because it makes total sense. So the Temperance card in the reverse position, this is indicating that we are, first and foremost, we are out of balance. So our emotions and our intellect are out of balance. Our emotions are in the driver's seat behind the steering wheel. This can be very dangerous, okay? So this is where our emotions are making our decisions for us, So again, remember, this is how other people are looking at you, and perception is a very personal thing, so everyone's perception is different. Now, with the Temperance card, I always like to say this is the card where we need to be prepared to work with other people, okay? And this is a card where our patience and our tolerance levels are being tested. It's like at an all-time high, and they are being tested. You know, how bad do you want to achieve this? How bad do you want that? You know, because you're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to be tolerant. But we have to bring ourselves back into balance, okay? Because right now, it's like the emotions are behind the steering wheel in the driver's seat, and boy, that can get dangerous, let me tell you. We got to get control and bring ourselves back into balance. Because as it sits right now, we might come across as a bit intolerant or impatient. Maybe we're not hearing people out. Sometimes, especially if you're in a position of authority, sometimes this can indicate that perhaps maybe we're not listening to our employees' complaints. Maybe we're not listening to our customers, and they could be bringing some valid points and arguments to us, and it's like just kind of like provoking us more. But really, we need to take a step back and look at it, because the information and the complaints that they bring could actually be holding some real weight here. So it's something we need to definitely listen to instead of just automatically getting mad and pushing it to the side. Now, I always like to say, slow down and smell the roses, because this is where we can miss out on opportunities, because we are just speeding around because we want to get things done now, and we can actually end up missing opportunities. So while I completely understand you guys are determined to get things done, we don't want to be impatient or intolerant and like just blowing right past everyone and like literally steamrolling over everyone. We have got to slow down. We could be missing some incredible opportunities. And if we're running around and like a chicken with our head cut off, we're not going to notice all those opportunities that could have presented themselves because we're just speeding right through. So relax, Capricorn, relax. Woo-wee. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? But we definitely need to be patient and be ready to deal with other people. And, like I said, this is where we feel like our patience and tolerance levels are being tested. But ultimately, if you want to succeed, if you want to be achieving or accomplishing whatever it is you're going after, then we need to be easier to work with. We need to be more patient. We need to be more tolerant. So we need to be ready to prove ourselves that we can work with other people. We can hear other people out. We are patient. We are tolerant, because that is what is needed here. And if we have that and we can do all that, then you can't keep us from success. It's just like that. Period. We will be successful. But we must be patient and tolerant. Okay, I know I'm beating the same drum over and over, but it's important, Okay. Okay, so this would be the hopes, fears, position. Sometimes this can give us a little bit of subconscious info. Now, this is the Knight of Coins, so we are definitely focused on positive news regarding finances, money, jobs coming in. Now, for some of you, this could be about the future sale, maybe of a home, maybe of a vehicle. We could be focusing on a sale. For some of us, this could be indicating that there could be an opportunity for a new job, a promotion. So these are things that could very much be playing out here. So, job opportunity, possible promotion. Sometimes we can see things with investments that pop up with this card as well. So we could be focusing on an investment that had been made, and perhaps we're hoping on a good return for all the things I've just stated. So it seems that we're definitely hoping for the best, but this could also be our subconscious mind saying things will turn out for the better. But, maybe we just need to go through this. Okay, so for the final outcome, we have the Judgment card. So, first and foremost, let me just say this for this position is definitely indicating that there is a decision that is going to have to be made. Okay? And this decision is one that could literally be life changing. So, this is not the type of decision that we can make and then simply undo it a few weeks later if we decide we don't like it. No, this is a choice, a decision that we're going to have to make that has very long term effects on our future. Okay? Some of us have many of these throughout our life, and some of us only have a few of these, life-changing decision points in our life. But this is definitely one. Okay? This is a big decision, and it's one that we should not be careless when we make it. This is something we really need to make sure we're making the right choice. Now, the good thing with the Judgment card in the upright position is it definitely is indicating that we can see the true nature of the situation, okay? So that is good. So at least we know we're dealing with the facts. So before we make this huge life-changing choice decision, we should definitely be willing to, do some research on, what we might be deciding on. Definitely use your intellect and, those wits. Let's use it for the right reason, because this is a decision that you can't go back on. We can't just simply change it because it's going to affect us. And it's like once this decision is made, it's got long-term effects. So we want to make sure that we make the right decision, and we want to take our time before, we don't want to just impulsively decide. That's where we can get into trouble. Now with the Judgment card, this is also one of those cards where, maybe we shouldn't cast judgment unless we're ready to have judgment cast upon us. So, treat people how you want to be treated. That's pretty much common sense, but, I just had to throw it out there. But again, life-changing decision. So, I've got 2 clarification cards. We have the Queen of Wands in the reverse position. So, the Queen of Wands in reverse, she does not have that confidence. She does not have the confidence in herself or in her abilities right now. This is a card where the not so great side can be expressed. This could be our more aggressive side that comes out. This can make us appear to be arrogant, bossy, pushy. Sometimes this is a card where we can end up saying some things that we might later regret. We may not mean them in the moment, but it can make us feel a bit regretful sometimes. We do need to be careful, But I'm feeling that for a lot of you that this is about worry. Maybe you feel like, am I cut out for this? Is this really what I want? Can I really do this? Well, only you can answer that. But I don't want you guys to be beating yourselves up, okay? And Capricorn is like, you guys are like a warden. You will mentally beat yourself up. And I don't want you guys to do that. I don't want you guys to be walking around with a lack of self-confidence in yourself, in your abilities. Sure, there's definitely some situation going on that's got you down. I get it. And then we have this Star card in the reverse, and this is why I'm definitely feeling like some of you are feeling like you're lost hope and like there's no hope at all, but there is. Now, if you keep focusing on that and keep telling yourself there isn't no hope, well, then there's not going to be. This becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, okay? This is the Judgment card. So, I don't want you guys to fall into that trap. I need you guys to believe in yourself. I believe in you. I believe in you. I need you to believe in yourself and your abilities. Okay? I don't want you guys walking around depressed and, you know, potentially biting people's heads off. This is where we can become a bit more volatile, so to speak. I don't want to say volatile. This is more like we've got a short fuse. Then we have the Seven of Cups. So this is definitely what I refer to as the emotional choices wish card. So we have a choice to make, which we already know this based off of the Judgment card. There very much is a choice we have to make. But this is a decision, a choice that is going to have long-term effects. Huge, life-changing decision, period. But this is a decision that can make us a bit emotional. Now, with the Seven of Cups, we always have to remember that there can be a bit of illusion that can come up with this card. So, all that glitters is not gold. Okay, this is where we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, because something can appear one way, but it's actually something completely different. So it can actually look great and grand on the outside at first glance, oh, but then it's not so great. So there is an issue of illusion, okay? And what did I say? Fear is an illusion. We don't have to be stuck, okay? But again, like, we see so many options within these cups, okay? For some, we might be like, hey, look at those keys. I wonder what those keys go to. Do they go to a beautiful home? Do they go to a new car? And then you could get the keys, and then you could find, oh, they go to this chest. Oh, what's in this chest? Oh, it's empty. So it's like things can appear more glittery and glamorous on the outside, but then they're not what you thought they were. And this is when I always say, this is where we need our logic, okay? Ultimately, we want to go with spirit. So, because when we choose spirit, we will never go wrong with our choices, okay? So you don't want to judge things by how they look on the outside and their appearance. And we need to make our choice. It's an emotional choice, but it is one that we should absolutely use our intellect to make. Because if we allow ourselves to be overcome by emotion, woo, I wonder what these keys go to. This is where we can end up feeling disillusioned, and I want you guys to avoid that. If you remain true to yourself and your values, then you can't go wrong. I just want you guys to use your intellect when making this choice. And I don't want you guys feeling down on yourself and not believing in yourself. Make the right choice for where you are in your life right now. And only you know what the right choice for you is going to be. If you need a further in-depth reading that is personal, you can always look at my price list. It's on the Facebook page, or you can email me directly for a price quote, and I can assist you. Okay, so for the bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Coins in reverse. So, which again, this definitely makes sense. So it's like we're definitely focusing on some sort of financial loss or a financial drain of some sort. This can also be, that we could be experiencing some sort of material loss. So it doesn't necessarily mean that, we've all lost our jobs or anything. For some of you, this will be, an issue. Some of you have lost a job. But that by no means is meant to resonate with all of you. For some of you, maybe we've had a large savings. Maybe an unexpected expense popped up. And now we're feeling like, okay, now I feel like I've never been so broke in my life. So it's like there is an emphasis on the finances and, the material world, and we're feeling a lack. So there's a financial loss, a drain. Now, I always like to warn when I see this card that we need to be careful, because Sometimes this card can indicate being lazy, which I would never associate with Capricorn energy in general, but you know, we are more than just our sun, moon, or rising sign. So for some of you, this could be an issue of being lazy and not going after it, but for most Capricorns, laziness is not an issue. They will work you under the table. Shoot. But sometimes this can be someone who will manipulate when it comes to finances so that they gain. So this can be very unethical. But I'm feeling for most of you that this is just the focus point of it is the fact that you guys don't feel financially secure or materially secure. Now, okay. So I got 3 clarification cards. And looky there, Judgment came out again. No big surprise. So the life-changing decision very much has something to do with our financial security and our material well-being. So I'm thinking it's got a lot to do with a work situation or a finance situation in general. We also see we've got the Ace of Coins. So this is like a new start financially. And it's like maybe we've taken a left turn when we should have took a right turn. So something could have gone wrong there. Sometimes this can be overextending ourselves financially. So maybe if we were, say, starting a new business or something, or starting a new financial project, maybe we had a certain budget and we didn't allow ourselves some extra room. And so this could very much indicate that we just went way over budget, and then this can really hurt us. So when I see the Ace of Coins in reverse, I say it's not about what we want, it's about get what we need. Save the I wants for later. Right now we have to focus on what we need. Get the necessities with our money. Don't be out buying, going on a shopping spree and all of that, because this is a card indicating money's about to get tight. Now, anytime I see an ace in the reverse position, it's a blockage. So there is a blockage. For some of you, it's situational, circumstantial. For some of you, it's self-sabotage. And then we have the Ten of Coins. So ultimately, this is what our decision is about. Because we want to be not only financially secure, we want to be wealthy. We want to have that large savings. We want to have a successful business, or we want to have a very good, solid, structured, stable job that takes care of us and our family and makes us feel financially secure, allows us to still pay our bills and save money. So the focus is definitely on financial security and our financial well-being. And that's what this choice is about. So again, please do not be lacking confidence and lack of believing in yourself. Again, the short fuse is definitely due to the situations that you've gone through. But I don't want you guys losing hope either. It's just a temporary situation, and while for some of you, it may feel like it's huge, okay? And it is, because there is a life-changing decision here, but I just want you guys to know that ultimately, this decision could actually lead you to something far better. It may not feel like that right now, but it will later on. And sometimes we can look back and be like, okay, now I get it. I had to go through that so I could get where I am now. But again, we don't always think about that when we're in the moment and we're, currently going through it, It's hard to see the positive of where we could end up because we're dealing with where we are now, So I get it. But I just want you guys to know, make the decision that is best for you. Please think it through, And again, don't allow your emotions to make the choice for you. Definitely pay attention to your intuitive hunches, for sure. But I don't want you to make your decision, your choice entirely based off of intuition or your fear. Okay? Make the decision that is right for you. Use the intellect. Chess, not checkers. Okay? Stay strong. It's going to be okay. I'm going to say a prayer for you guys. All will be well. It will. I love you guys, and I am sending you blessings of healing, prosperity, and love.